The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. PhilVox clarifies that the agency can only give recommendations if search and rescue teams wish to conduct operations at the Mayon volcano. This comes after Camalig Mayor Carlos Baldo said that PhilVox gave them permission to scout the Mayon volcano for possible debris of the missing Cessna plane. Mayon volcano is currently under alert level 2. PhilVox says that while it did give a green light for rescue operations, it is still up to the team to decide whether they want to push through.
So ang PhilVox po now, dahil yung Mayon is at alert level 2, ang recommendation namin, as always naman po, is yung huwag papasok sa 6 km permanent danger zone. Now, yung implementation po niyan, kung magpapapasok o hindi, depends on yung authority na niyan is nasa local government unit. Yun po yung and kung magkakaroon naman ng exception, nasa kanila po yun.
PhilVox says it can only provide rescue teams with warnings about the possible hazards they may face during operations.
Medyo yung mga slope, pwede magkaroon ng mga rockfalls, mga landslides, and madulas. Now, yung pag-solve naman ng yung danger naman ng yung volcanic gases, pagdating sa Mayon, very minimal yan. At that altitude, mahangin naman. So, madali naman mag-dissipate yun, yung volcanic gases. Pero still, siguro, pwede silang magdala ng mga gas masks.
Germany is backing the Philippines following the laser pointing incident with China. Germany's Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said international laws should be followed in the South China Sea. The Philippine government has protested China's use of military-grade laser on a Philippine Coast Guard vessel near the Ayungin Shoal, which is part of our country's exclusive economic zone.
In these challenging times, it is even more important that countries, that foreign ministers of countries that do not meet on a regular basis because they're so far apart in geographic terms, nevertheless engage and talk about important matters. Your beautiful country finds itself in a region with dangerous geopolitical tensions that might explode at any given moment. And what that means in practical terms was illustrated recently during an incident involving a Chinese military-grade laser.
Foreign Affairs Chief Enrique Manalo said the laser incident is just one of many cases of harassment involving Chinese personnel.
There are daily incidents, at least as far as we see it, of cases of harassment or land reclamation, which in many cases have been depriving the Philippines of the use of our exclusive economic zone.
This year's Balikatan exercises with the United States is expected to be the biggest to date. Army Commanding General Romeo Browner told the chiefs that it will include more components like electronic warfare. He clarified, though, that it is not intended to provoke China and the details of the drills won't be shared to Beijing either.
Electronic warfare will also be part of the exercises. In other words, ito pong yung gagawin nating exercise would not just be confined to purely combat. In fact, a big part of it, as I said, would still be the humanitarian assistance and disaster response.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. Senator Loren Legarda says the Philippine government did not prepare well enough to be a part of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. Legarda, who sponsored the bill, still found the trade deal lacking, even as the RCEP was negotiated for more than 10 years. For this reason, the Senate included a provision in the RCEP which would require an oversight committee to make sure the local agricultural sector would not be put at a disadvantage with this implementation.
Sabihin ko totoo, hindi ako kontento. Pero kailangan natin pasukin para wag tayo maiwanan. I'm taking that big leap of faith, so to speak, so that we can go along with the other ASEAN nations, our neighbor Indonesia, big country, as well as Myanmar and Laos. Huwag naman tayong mangusan pa ng ibang bansa kung hindi tayo makasama sa RCEP na ito.
Meanwhile, the American Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines backed the ratification of the RCEP. The group says the country cannot afford to leave itself out of the bloc, as the trade deal would help the country recover from economic scars induced by the pandemic. The group also believes the RCEP would encourage more foreign direct investments, which would generate more jobs for Filipinos. Special investigation task groups have been formed to look into a series of ambushes that claimed the life of a vice mayor in Cagayan and almost killed the governor of Lanao del Sur. Mon Gualvez with the report.
This van, occupied by Aparicagayan Vice Mayor Romel Alameda, was peppered with bullets Sunday morning. Alameda and his group of aides were on their way to Manila to attend the meeting with the Vice Mayor's League when they were ambushed by men supposedly wearing police uniforms in Nueva Vizcaya.
CCTV rin na naka-adventure na sila mga tao, apparently naka-uniform daw sila ng police.
Alameda and his 5 companions were rushed to the hospital but have been declared dead on arrival. In this CCTV footage, suspects were caught fleeing the scene aboard a white AUV. The getaway vehicle was found by authorities this morning in the town of Solano, Nueva Vizcaya. The vehicle was burned and abandoned. According to the PNP Region 2 office, the suspects are not legitimate members of the police force. The Nueva Vizcaya Police Provincial Office has formed the Special Investigation Task Group to look into the case. The manhunt continues for the suspects, but the motive for the ambush remains unknown. Authorities are now eyeing the imposition of a gun ban in the province. A similar ambush took place in Lanao del Sur on Friday. In the town of Maging, bullets were fired at this pickup truck occupied by Governor Mamintal Alonto Adiong Jr.'s convoy. Adiong's 3 security escorts, who were all his relatives as well as his driver, died on the spot. Adiong sustained a gunshot wound to the stomach but made it to the hospital and is now in stable condition. Authorities believe around 7 to 10 suspects carefully planned and executed the ambush, which took place some 1.7 kilometers from the nearest checkpoint within the MILF camp. The MILF says an ambush in that area is difficult to hear.
Kung tingnan mo yung topography ng area, mahirap man yun, kay bundok-bundok yun. Ang nag-save kay Governor ay yung sasakyan niya tumakbo pa rin despite the ambush at medyo nakalayo sila doon sa kill zone ng ambush.
The police are now looking into several groups or persons of interest. Other possible suspects are members of supposed lawless or terrorist groups in the provinces. A special investigation task group has also been formed to probe the matter. And because of the ambush, a gun ban will be declared in Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao, and 63 barangays in North Cotabato. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
Meanwhile, the PNP says it's ready to provide assistance for local government officials that may be receiving security threats in light of recent ambushes. Speaking to the big story, PNP spokesperson Jean Fajardo says the regional directors and field commanders are coordinating with local governments over possible security concerns. Fajardo assures local officials that the PNP is ready to address such concerns.
Kaya naman lalong-lalo nga po sa nangyari ito po dalawang insidente na ito ay mas lalo po tayo makikipag-coordinate sa kanila at aalamin kung kailangan po silang bigyan po ng additional security, kung natatanggap po silang banta sa kanilang buhay ay ang PNP po ay handa po i-provide kung ano man po yung mga security assistance na kailangan po.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.